Happy Friday, this is Pam Slim, and I wanted to share something that's been very pivotal for folks in my power teaching class and has been hugely important to me as I have been in business for 16 years and done tons and tons and tons of presentations and live classes and online classes and written blog posts and all kinds of things like that. This is very, very important information. In fact, I could even say it is... Okay, maybe not really, but it has to do with learning objectives. I know you are so excited. That's exactly what you thought the secret to health, wealth, fame, and fortune was, is learning objectives. Before you roll your eyes, listen a little bit carefully, because when you are getting ready to share information with an audience, either in a keynote presentation or a workshop or an online class, or even in a blog post, what's going to help guide the direction of what you offer and also help you figure out from all of the wealth of information you have in your head, and I know that you have this much, if not more, information about your topic, it allows you to narrow it down to a portion of information that will be truly useful for people that they can actually do something with. All of you have probably been in a presentation where the presenter tried to cram in a period of 45 minutes and 350 PowerPoint slides everything that they knew about one topic. It never, ever, ever works. It's not useful for the presenter or for the audience members. So what you want to do is you want to think in terms of learning objectives. What will people actually walk away with? And some words to help get you started would be things like, what do you want people to do? What do you want people to know? What do you want people to feel? What do you want people to be able to describe? All of these are active verbs that can help direct you to a place that will help you to sort from a huge amount of information into something that makes sense. So let's say, for example, I'm in front of an audience for the very first time who wants to learn how to start a business. Now, I could talk about 150 different topics, but I would want to think for that particular audience, what would be the kind of thing that's critical for them to know? Maybe in the first presentation, it would just be an outline of the basic steps that they need to be aware of in order to start a business. So maybe it's 5 major steps, and I would just describe those steps at a high level. If they wanted more information, that could be where I follow up or do another talk or recommend them to read my book or a blog post or something like that. But if I overwhelm them with a huge amount of topics about starting a business, it's going to be too hard. You might be in a situation where you are reaching an audience that feels dejected and they are sad about circumstances in their life, or maybe they've had a lot of challenges. And so you want in your communication or your presentation to help infuse them with a feeling of hope. You want them to feel inspired. You want them to have a feeling of motivation. And this is a little bit harder to measure. So usually with good learning objectives, you want to objectively be able to measure it. But you could choose to share images and words and stories that would be really uplifting for people so that they do feel inspired, so that they would feel hope, especially if you're focusing on a particular area that's really of interest to them. So when you set out to plan your content, when you're thinking from that perspective, in this 45 minutes or in this brief online program, I want people to be able to identify or describe the 5 steps to doing whatever it is you're going to teach them. I want them to be able to actually do it. I want them to be able to put a business plan together using the following model, would be something very specific. Or I want them to know the 10 things that will get you in prison or under the microscope of the IRS if you don't do them correctly. That would be an example of things that you would really want people to know. And from these very specific learning objectives, then that's where you would craft the information to follow up with them. When you get excited about saying, oh yeah, but I could add this, and then I could add that, and add this piece of information, go back to your learning objectives and ask yourself, does sharing this information help to reinforce this particular thing that I want them to learn? or the thing I want them to be able to do, or the thing I want them to know. Usually we cram about 2 to 3 times more information than is necessary in a communication. So with that, I encourage you to, before you get into developing content or designing slides or anything like that for your next presentation or class that you're teaching, start with the learning objectives. They really are a wonderful anchor to help keep you focused and make sure that people take away the exact thing that you want them to take away from your presentation. Thanks and have a great weekend.